This drink might sound like a load of nonsense, but it's not. Let me show you how to make a cock and bull cocktail. Welcome back to the channel, I'm Matt, I'm the Whiskey Nerd, and like I said, today I'm making a cocktail that sounds like a load of nonsense, but it's not. I'm making a cock and bull, and while cock and bull might conjure name things like the cock and bull story, that's just basically a load of nonsense, this here is actually not a load of nonsense. This is a cock and bull cocktail named after the Cock and Bull British style pub on the Hollywood Strip, where they invented it as their signature cocktail, and it is a solid little kind of after dinner drink with a bit of herbal kick to it that just helps settle the stomach. So for the ingredients of this cocktail, we've got some bourbon. I'm using Buffalo Trace here, but you can use whatever bourbon you want, just as long as it gives a bit of that bourbony sweetness with a bit of oak spice, a bit of oak bite, and that kind of profile. I've also got some Benedictine, which is a French liqueur. It's kind of herbal, kind of sweet, kind of botanical. It just almost has this slightly medicinal but a bit more of a sweet kick to it. And then we've also got some Cognac. I'm just using some Hennessy that's pretty widely available. Just a Cognac, a bit of earthy. It's an aged liqueur. It's going to be kind of similar profile to the bourbon, but without that kind of oak barrel bite of it. And at the end, I'm going to use a little bit of triple sec, which is an orange liqueur, and some orange bitters to round things out. And it is a little bit of a, like I said, after dinner drink, where there's a bit of earthy, spicy notes here from the bourbon. There's them earthy, maybe not spicy, but botanical, spiced notes here. We've got, again, some kind of earthy, oaky, spicy notes coming through from this. We've also got a little bit of sweetness to lighten things up here with the triple sec. A little bit of orange to give us a bit more of a citrusy profile to the cocktail. And there's one more thing we do to it later on that gives it a bit of roundness, that keeps it from being too one note, that keeps it from being very dry and tart, and just makes it into a bit of a fruitier little drink. So it's enough time talking about the cocktail. It's time we make it, and I show you what we do to make it that little bit softer, sweeter, and fruitier. We're going to get our mixing glass, and we're going to pop a nice rock of ice into it before adding an orange peel to it. So this is what's called a Regal stir, where you pop in an orange peel into your mixing glass and you stir the cocktail with that orange peel to really imbue all those orangey notes into the drink. So let's measure out our ingredients. Starting off with my bourbon, I'm going to go in with 22.5 ml, or 3/4 of an ounce, of my Buffalo Trace bourbon, which, like I said, it's just a classic, slightly sweet, slightly earthy, slightly spicy, just kind of classic bourbon-y bourbon. And then I'm going to go in with the same amount, 22.5 ml, or 3/4 of an ounce, of my Benedictine French liqueur, which is very, very sweet, but again, it has those kind of herbal notes that prevent it from being just overpowering, that prevent it from being dominating. I'm going to go in with 15 ml, or half an ounce, of my Cognac. I'm using Hennessy, but you can use whichever Cognac you can find. So that there was 15 ml, and I'm going to go in with 1/4 of an ounce, or 7.5 ml, of my triple sec, which, like I said, is just an orange liqueur. Quite sweet, quite simple, but it just gives you a nice bit of flavor. So I'm going to go in here with 1/4 of an ounce of my triple sec into there, and then I'm going to go in lastly with 1 dash of orange. And you might be thinking to yourself, that's a lot of orange, and I think that's kind of important for this cocktail because it keeps it quite balanced. It keeps that bourbony note, it keeps all those kind of herbal notes in check a little bit. So I'm just going to knock that orange peel down into the glass beside that big old rock of ice, stir it away for about 30 seconds to get it really nice and really cold. Okay, I think that is nicely chilled now. So I'm going to go right to strain it out into a nicely simple enough rocks glass that I'm going to fill with a fresh rock of ice. So I'm going to pop my Hawthorne strainer up top just to catch that peel, just to catch that other rock of ice, pour it away just like that into there. And then for a garnish, to really hammer home those orange notes, I'm not going to express the oils of an orange peel over the top. I'm just going to get an orange peel that I've cut a little strip into, pop it down just like that. And that right there is how I make a cock and bull. Now real quick before I taste this cocktail, if you're new here, scroll down, hit that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button. I put out whiskey reviews every Wednesday. I put out cocktail recipes like this featuring whiskey every Friday, and if you want to see more like that, make sure you hit that subscribe button and let me know down in the comments below if there are any cocktails you think I should make in future. But for now, let's taste this one. Cheers. This is nice. It has this, like I said, slightly like of an after dinner vibe to it with the herbal notes you get from all those spirits, but it's not like a Boulevardier, one of those cocktails that's very dry, very bitter, very like herb note forward. The triple sec here gives a bit of sweetness. You're using bourbon, which is itself kind of sweet. The Benedictine, the Cognac, they all add a little bit of sweetness, but all that orange zesty note from having that orange peel in the stir, having that orange bitters, having a little bit of orange up top to give you an extra bit of like fragrance as you taste it. It just gives it a really nice softness to it. Yeah, if you are looking for like an after dinner drink, and like I said, all those kind of digestive cocktails, they can be a bit harsh, they can be a bit kind of heavy duty, heavy going. If you're looking for something a bit softer, this right here I think is definitely where it is, because it's just a nice, not too complicated drink to make, but it gives you a really kind of different vibe to all those after dinner drinks, but just has its own kind of nice, kind of unique, very tasty little profile. So I'm going to keep on enjoying it, and I'll see you next time. Sláinte.